talking with Kristen Brandt, Executive Director and Vice President of She'sTheFirst.org. So we are pumped to talk about what they have going on over here. So Kristen, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about She'sTheFirst.org. So what is it exactly? For those, if somebody said, what is She'sTheFirst.org, what is the first thing you tell them?
Well, She's the First is a not-for-profit dedicated to educating girls around the globe. So we focus on finding sponsors in the U.S. who will sponsor girls' education in the developing world. And we do that by garnering support through grassroots fundraisers. So we really encourage our supporters to go out and to use their own talents. So if you are an awesome baker, then you can have a bake sale. If you're a runner or an athlete, then you can have a marathon. If you're just a really social person, you can grab 20 friends and everyone can pitch in $10 and you'll have a girl sponsorship.
That's awesome. That's such a cool twist on it too. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of things exactly like that out there. So, how did it start? Like, was there something that sparked the idea for it, or?
Well, so I first met our president, Tammy Timbits, in 2007. And we knew each other, but we didn't talk much, actually, until the summer of 2009, when she posted on Facebook, of course, an article about girls' education in Liberia.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a very biased article that demonstrated a lot of the problems with girls' education in the developing world and a lot of the problems with attitudes towards girls' education. So after she posted this, I shot her a message basically ranting about the state of girls' education in the developing world and what we needed to do to fix it. And she wrote back and she said, well, that's really funny because I had this idea for a directory of schools. I want to call it She's the First, and I've already bought the URL, but I haven't done anything else yet. And Tammy she's great. She's incredibly visionary, and she is the type of person who has this kind of idea and then goes out and buys the URL before she even has the team to do anything with it.
Nice, I understand that.
Yes. So she told me about this idea that she had, and I was completely psyched about it because I was very interested in girls' ed and in breaking the cycle of poverty through girls' education. So we started this Facebook message thread back and forth
Awesome.
and eventually graduated to emails and then to phone calls. And then by May of 2009, she came down to visit me in D.C., and we had our first unofficial executive board meeting.
Nice.
And decided that, we were definitely going to do this. And we were up and running then by November of 2009.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny how something starts with an idea like that and then it just kind of develops and then it just kind of, keeps going. You get people like you that are like psyched about it. So, but that's so awesome. I know when I was looking at the website, but explains everybody like, who you're targeting and what girls you're trying to help and how far it spans and everything, because I know sometimes people may think you only have to concentrate on a certain place, which some organizations do, but tell us what you target.
Right, so we're actually targeting all countries in the developing world that have an issue with girls' education. So right now we're mainly in countries in Africa, with a few in Southeast Asia, and also 2 in Latin America. Where we do have plans to expand that into China, the Middle East, and South America as well.
Awesome.
So we're constantly growing. But girls' education is something that you find almost across the board in impoverished areas as being a big issue and a big problem.
Oh, yeah.
And what we found through studies, through reading, we're both journalists by trade, so
awesome.
we do a lot of digging and a lot of research.
I hear you.
Yeah, a lot of stats work. But what we found is that educating a girl is the most cost-effective way of combating poverty. And the reason for that is because all you're paying for is for 1 year of school, or hopefully 4 to 6 years of school and getting her to finish out her education.
Exactly.
But for each year of school that she gets, she is more likely to marry later. She's more likely to wait to have children. She's more likely to protect herself when she does have sex. And she's more likely to educate her own children. Right. In addition to all of that, an educated woman will, on average, invest 90% of what she makes back into her family as opposed to 30 to 40% for a man. So if you're educating a girl, when she grows up and starts making money, she's going to have a smaller family that's easier to feed. She is probably not going to die in childbirth because she'll be old enough that her body is ready to start having children.
Right.
And with that job that she has, that is better than the job she would have had because she has that education now. She's investing 90% of that back into her family and into her community. So it has a cyclical effect from even one girl of impacting the people within her family and then within her community. And eventually, that ripple expands until it reaches much larger levels. And all of this happens with 1 year of education. Now imagine if you were to educate that girl all the way through until she graduated from high school. You're looking at about, for our schools, an average of $300 per year. So if you were to sponsor her 4 years of high school, that's $1,200. That's a really nice Prada bag. Or it's the breaking of a cycle of poverty in Africa.
Right. Wow. Talk about, I think I just learned a whole school lesson there, man. But I tell you what, though, it's nice that you break stuff down like that because a lot of people don't know. Because I had gone on something back in 2007 with Not Forgotten, of something a friend had started, and down in Peru. It was just amazing to me, like, how things are so different down there. You know what I mean? Like, in just different, I know you probably noticed with different stuff, or with girls and everything, just like y'all are talking about, because, you don't think about the statistics like that. You just, we see around us what's going on every day, and you don't think over there. I mean, it's beyond different people, and they have no idea. Have you had the chance to go over there yet, or see any of the ones that are?
Actually, I just got back from a trip to Guatemala. Well, not just. I went in January. It feels like I just got back because I'm still living there in my head.
I know, right?
But it really is amazing. And what was really great about this visit was that I got to see girls who were just starting in the program, who's were meeting with their groups for the very first time or for the second or third time. I got to see groups who had been meeting for 1 to 2 years, and I got to see groups who were at the end of the journey, who had been there already for 3 years, had been with the same group. And to see the change in these girls from the very quiet and shy girls who are starting the program, and these girls at the end of the program who are all outspoken, have dreams, have such loud personalities, is really amazing. These are girls who wanted to be forensic scientists and doctors and English teachers, and it was really great to talk to them. And I interviewed a bunch of them and asked, what is it that your mentor has done for you? Because in this program they have mentors. And across the board, the most popular response was that she gave me a voice.
Wow.
She taught me that it was okay to say what I was thinking, and that it's okay to go after my dreams, and that I can stand up for what I want. And that's such an amazing thing, because when we're here, we don't think about not having a voice, right? We all know that if we want to go out and do something, then, and we really work hard at it, we know that there's a path that we can generally take to get there. And for them, it hadn't even occurred to them until they started this program that there are places that they can go, and if they want something, they can stand up and ask for it and work hard for it, and they can get it.
That's so awesome. I mean, yeah, it's just, we take things for granted over here, you know what I mean? And it's just, it's so awesome for them to say that. I know when they said that to you, a voice, you're probably just melted, or you're just like, oh man.
It was one of those moments that, as a journalist, this is the quote, and it really is such an apt way of expressing what education does for women in these countries. All of a sudden, they do have a voice to represent themselves, and that's a very, very powerful thing. Mm-hmm. And there aren't many ways to get that.
No, there's not, but you guys are creating that. But so is that probably, I was going to ask you too, like, after all this time of starting and up and everything, was that your one memorable moment so far? Or I'm sure you have a ton of them, but is that what sticks out most? Or
that was a very big one for me. But on that same trip to Guatemala, we actually, there were three of us from She's the First who went down together. And we met this girl, her name's Anna, and she's 13. Her father had leg cancer, got leg cancer when she was 9, and had to have his leg amputated. And he's a farmer, so that meant that his livelihood was taken away from him. So all of her older brothers and sisters dropped out of school so that they could go to work. And Anna, who's 9, tried to do the same thing, but couldn't get a full-time job. So she started working part-time jobs after school. In the 4 years since that happened and when we met her, she had had 8 different jobs, making tortillas, babysitting, nursing, and feeding cows and chickens, just all of these different jobs that she could do after school, while also traveling to school. It'd take her 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to get back. After school, she'd be traveling back home at night through the dark around these winding roads. She, one night, as she was coming home in the dark, got hit by a bus, had her leg broken, went to the hospital, and afterwards came back and kept going to school and kept working to try and support her family. And so she was actually in need of a sponsor. So the 3 of us actually personally sponsored her. And to be sitting there in her house, hearing this story and knowing that I personally am going to do something about this, that I personally am going to make sure that she gets to high school and that she gets to college and that the last 4 years weren't for nothing, is just, it was amazing. And it continues to amaze me every day. I have a 45-minute commute to work, and anytime it starts getting a little bit much for me to bear, all I have to do is think about Anna, because my God, this girl has, she travels 4 hours a day to get to school and has gotten hit by a bus and is still going. And it really is just incredibly inspiring. And one of the things that we aim to do with She's the First is to bring those stories to our supporters so that you feel that connection. Because most of us can't take trips to Guatemala, and most of us, aren't going to get the opportunity to meet the person we're sponsoring in person. But if I can go to that country and I can bring you back videos of these girls and how their lives are changing and show you pictures of, Anna, who is now in school and working on a paper, then I can bring that connection to you, at least in a way that makes you feel like you know what she's going through and that you know who she is and what she's achieving. Right. And I think that if I can do that for our supporters at She's the First, then we've really done something meaningful for them too.
Yeah, I think I want to meet her actually already.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go, not only shake her hand, but give her a hug and just, but things like that are amazing to me. And, like I said, I think we take a lot of things for granted, and a lot of people don't see these things. And I think it's awesome that y'all are bringing this to the table, and just like you, being able to show this and share this with people, just like that story, I mean, that would touch anybody. And I mean, I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
But this happens every day, and it's crazy. But that's an awesome story. Now I want to go to Guatemala.
Well, I want to go back. So.
I know, right? Let's go. Is there a certain age range y'all stick with, or is it all ages? Just depends on.
It depends on the partner program. We don't run the schools ourselves, and we don't run the programs ourselves. Mm-hmm. We partner with organizations that are already on the ground, because they know what's happening in those areas. These programs go through a very strict vetting process, but they're all different because they all work uniquely within their own communities. Mm-hmm. So it depends on what the organization does that we're working with in that area. But She's the First as an organization tends to stick to primary and secondary education. Some of the schools that we work with do college sponsorships as well, or are in the process of implementing college sponsorships. And so that's an option for us in the future, and it's also an option for people who sponsor through She's the First originally to work their way up to if they decide to continue sponsoring that student through college. But the short answer to your question.
Oh, no, hey, I like it. I love it. Keep coming.
is that She's the First as an organization generally sticks to primary and secondary.
Okay, I got you. Well, as far as like if like I never heard, or well, now that I've heard about it, but how can I get involved? With She's the First, what would be the best way to let everybody know how they can get involved and where they can go as far as the website and everything?
Okay, so the biggest way is to help them spread the word. So you can come visit our website, which is she'sthefirst.org, but also come see us on social media, which we are huge on and love.
Yeah.
So facebook.com/she'sthefirst. Tweet at us at She's the First. I promise we'll tweet back. I just started a Tumblr as well, and that's she'sthefirst.tumblr.com.
Okay.
So connecting with us on all these platforms is an awesome way, if you only have 5 minutes and no money to spare, to really help us get the word out and to get this cause moving. If you're looking to do something more, our platform is really about those grassroots fundraisers. So getting together with your friends and everybody contributing $10 and picking a school in the directory that you'll sponsor a girl at would be an amazing way to help. If you're feeling more creative and you want to have a bake sale or a fashion show or a fishing derby, whatever it is that you love, then, email us and let us know, because we would love to write about it on the blog, and it would be a great way for you to sponsor a girl and get involved.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll be getting involved. I can say that. I'm already, like, my sisters and I were, like, on it, so... But yeah,
okay.
And all this too, it'll be on our website and everything. So if anybody needs to get all that extra stuff, they can find it on our website too. So I appreciate you telling us about this, and we'll be sure to spread the word. So
yeah, thank you so much for